is Jordan and I'm an exclusively pumping mom, and I have a series of exclusively pumping tips and tricks, so follow along if you want to learn everything related to pumping. Today I want to talk about scheduling because I feel like scheduling is the biggest hurdle when it comes to exclusively pumping. I started exclusively pumping when my daughter was about 2 months old, so I'm not an expert when it comes from straight out of the hospital exclusively pumping. I have no idea where to start. However, this is what I did. In order to build a milk supply, you need to be pumping like a baby would be sucking at the breast every single time. I believe they tell you that in the hospital you're feeding every 2 to 3 hours, if I'm not mistaken. So what you want to do if you're pumping is you would essentially just pump the same amount of times you would be feeding your baby. And that during the cluster feeding, because cluster feeding happens pretty soon postpartum, during that cluster feeding, whenever your baby is getting hungry for a bottle is when you should be pumping. A lot of people are curious as to how I'm not pumping in the middle of the night. I stopped pumping in the middle of the night when she did not need to feed in the middle of the night. At the beginning, yes, it sucks. You are pumping during the night many times during the night and it's not fun. However, it's the only way you're going to keep your milk supply up. I started sleeping through the night. I slowly just stopped pumping. Obviously, it took a couple days for me to get adjusted. I will say that those first couple of days of her sleeping through the night, I did wake up very engorged, but I was not going to be waking up to pump if my daughter was going to be sleeping through the night. I needed my sleep too. I do know though that a lot of women get their highest amount of milk output during the middle of the night because it's what our bodies are doing. It would be the case for me, but I'm sorry, I can't do it. I need to sleep. First morning pump is what gives me the most milk, and that is pretty much what saves me for the rest of the day. I've been on this schedule now for about 3 months, and what I do is I pump 5 times a day. And so when I wake up, I pump. So I pump at 7 a.m., I pump 3 hours later at 10, 3 hours later at 1, 3 hours later at 4, and 3 hours later at 7. Now, these times do vary. I am not exactly on top of it every top of the hour. I am maybe 15 minutes behind, 30 minutes behind, sometimes even an hour behind, but we are getting 5 pumps in during the day. I have accidentally done 4 pumps during the day and my supply suffered drastically. So I keep it very strictly at 5 pumps a day. And I am pumping as to her schedule. So whatever happens to your baby's schedule, your body needs to adapt to that, and it will come with time. And those of you who are pumping in the middle of the night, props to you, because that is absolutely amazing to get up and have that willpower even though your baby's sleeping. That's amazing. Happy pumping.